Here at Paddy Power, we're the home of the Money Back Special, with some incredible offers every single week. Check out the website or app today. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Welcome along to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined by Paul Keeley, Tom Collins and Paddy Power's Frank the Tank Hickey. Today is the day we find the answer to the big question. Can Duke of Frenzy become a third consecutive Postcast Saturday hero? There's also a race called the Derby, which we shall have a look at. The rest of a superb Epsom card. 8 other Saturday meetings. Then we'll turn our attention to Sunday, where there is a classic with the brilliant Persian King heading the Prix du Jockey Club betting. First of all, though, a very happy birthday to Paul Keeley. And I must say, I was very amused and indeed highly pleased by Tom Collins walking into the studio and saying, I've only just realised it's Keel's birthday. Is he younger than you? So, Tom, thank you very much for that. Keels, how are you feeling?
Typical young, and I have to tell you, Tom's a terrible judge. Yeah, not bad. 51 today. Don't feel a day over 61.
Oh, it's a lovely age. And we're doing this quite early. We're recording this nice early because you're toddling off to Epsom, aren't you?
I am, exactly, for the Oaks. Yeah, going to be there all day.
Lovely stuff.
After the pub.
Okay, right then, let's get stuck in then. There's 5 ITV races on Saturday at Epsom. We'll take them in chronological order. First of all, the 2 o'clock, the Epsom Investec Private Banking Handicap over a mile and 2. Frank, take it away with a show of betting from Paddy Power.
Yeah, Le Don de Vie is 4-1, Naif Road 5-1, along with Al Kamel and Politicise. The Trader 6-1, Creationist 8-1, along with Victory Command 10-1, Red Hot, and we're 14's Bar.
And we'll stick with you, Frank, to start. First of all, how confident are you going into this weekend?
Look, you're never massively confident, but I'd be hopeful. I'd be very hopeful. I'm in a couple of okay positions anti-post, so if one of them can do the business, I'd have a good weekend, all right.
Right, then kick us off with the winner at the 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm actually quite strong on one in this. I think we're under a little bit. There's bigger out there, but the Trader for Mark Johnson would look a very fair price based on that run in the London Gold Cup the last day. Now, going back to his 2-year-old form, he was an impressive winner of a novice event at Chester, conceding a penalty last year. So there'd be hope that he'd handle the track. He won that day by 4.5 lengths, beating a horse that's now rated 81 called Wild Edric. He's running here off a mark of 92. Now, he returned this year. He was second at Chelmsford, beaten half a length by Fox Prince. That one's followed up at Sandown off a £6 higher mark, winning by 3.5 lengths. So you assume that's going to get at least another 6 again. So it would make the Trader look well handicapped on that run alone. But then in the London Gold Cup, if you went back and watch it, he actually made a big move about 2.5, 3 furlongs out with Good Birthday over on the rail. And I don't think that was the place to be. Hedman and the Haggis horse kind of came down the middle. I think that might have been the best bit of ground. But he's not beaten far. I think he's beaten like 4.5 lengths and he's left on the same mark. And this race doesn't look anywhere near as competitive, I think. And with the Susan board, who's a master, as we saw yesterday, hitting a 5-timer, I'd be very keen on his chances.
Yeah, Kills, if history's told us one thing recently, it is follow the London Gold Cup form, isn't it? So are you going to follow Frank's lead with the Trader or are you looking elsewhere?
He was, he was on my shortlist of 2, and everything Frank said is correct. He probably did go a bit too soon at Newby, but I came down on the side rather strongly as well of the William Haggis trained Politicise, who has been running over a mile and 7 furlongs since he started racing as a 2-year-old, and is absolutely crying out for further. He's actually a half brother to Kings of Possible, who was a Group 1 sprinter, but he's by Camelot, and the way he ran last time, he just got tapped for toe, and then he started to really stray on strongly again. Trainers put cheek pieces on. He is owned by Bernard Cantor, who is co-founder, managing director of Investec. I'm pretty sure that this has been the plan for an absolute age, and I expect him to go very close. I expect him to be favourite on the day.
From a man who is 51 and looks 71 to a man who's 21 and looks 11. Tom Collins.
I'm with Frank here. I'm all over the Trader. I think he's the value at the prices. Mark Johnson's team's flying, 15 winners in the last 7 days. As Frank said, he travelled really well last time out in the London Gold Cup, but he got squeezed out at the start, and he's a horse that likes to race prominently. So, I mean, he was on the back foot from the off, made a really nice move, actually passed Hedman, and then just kind of faded in the last furlong because he made such a huge move 2.5 furlongs out. SDS booked. London Gold Cup performed really good, and yeah, he's the value bet of the race.
SDS at Epsom, you can almost do that blind and make a profit, can't you?
He's unbelievable
around there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's unbelievable at Epsom. I think Keels wrote in his column today, actually, that he's got such an amazing strike rate at the track.
Excellent stuff. OK, we're off and running. 2:35 at Epsom's the Princess Elizabeth Stakes, a Group 3 for fillies and mares over 8.5 furlongs. Frank, give us a show of betting.
Voracious, the 6-4, Nialetti 130, Anarium and Awesome Tanker 9-2, Bella Ragazza 8-1, Contrive 16-1, and we're 33's bar.
Is that named after you, Awesome Tank, Frank?
No.
Let's hope the tips are awesome.
I don't think any horse named after me would be so complimentary, Bruce, to be honest.
Keels, who's going to win this?
Well, interesting. Obviously, Voracious is the one to beat, even under a penalty, if she comes back to the pick of last year's form. But she's actually been a long way below it. Final start last year and first time up this year with only 4 for 5. I'm assuming Frank is going to be agreeing with me because he's very, very much the shortest price about Bella Ragazza of Hughie Morrison's. She was only 5th in the handicap last time, but running over a mile on a straight mile at Ascot and pulling all the way was never going to get home. She was very well back that day. The trainer says he's absolutely convinced that she's a black type filly, and he had her entered in all sorts of group races. He hasn't given up on that because he runs her here. She's twice the price. She's 16th in a place elsewhere. I'm going to take a chance. There's plenty of pace in this race, which will suit her. And I would take a chance on her at a big price each way. Let's
hope the 8 runners stand their ground in that case. Tom, what do you like?
I think it's just a one-horse race, really. Voracious, just by far the best of anything in the field. Awesome Tank and Ananerium are very closely matched, but their form's nowhere up to the standard of Voracious, who was placed in Group 1 company twice last year. She's only had 7 runs. Sir Michael's starting to improve her. She's only going to get better. She travelled really nicely on her reappearance in the Dahlia. Disappointing she didn't win, but she definitely blew up in the final furlong. I mean, she was challenging. She passed Nialetti, who's a second favourite, and she'll definitely beat. I think she'll definitely beat Nialetti in this race at Epsom. She actually passed Nialetti and then just completely blew up in the final furlong. Ended up finishing 4th. There's a lot better than that. You can mark her up, and she's just the best horse in the race and should win.
Frank, is Keels right in thinking that you are going to agree with him over Bella Ragazza?
There's nothing gets by Mr. Keeley, is there? I'd be very interested in Bella Ragazza in this type of race. Like, obviously, Tom's right, Voracious is the best form, but she's not a winning machine by any means. She's 2 from 7. Now a lot of that's in Group 1 company, but I was just a bit, for all she will improve for Newmarket, I was still a bit disappointed with her. Like, she was beaten 4 1/4 lengths, and the tongue tie goes on. So they obviously might think there's a small bit of an issue, and I think tomorrow is the day where she really needs to win if she's to fulfil the promise she showed earlier in her career. But I think at the prices, like where 8-1 Bella Ragazza, there's as big as I think 16-1 out there. Like, if you look at her, right, her peak efforts have come at Goodwood and Newmarket, so she likes the undulation. So there's a lot to say she'll enjoy the challenge that Epsom will present to her. Like, she was, if you look at the Newmarket winning a handicap of 88, she beat Move Swiftly that day. Move Swiftly was listed placed the next time out, and the third, K's now, I think you pronounce it, won a listed race next time. So there's every reason to think she's listed class at least. Oisin Murphy's booked, what I thought was quite interesting. He's 19 from 89, a 21% strike rate for Hughie Morrison. So that's a positive that he's booked for her, and I just think at the prices she looks a knocking each way bet. I think she's a massive price elsewhere.
The 3:10 at Epsom is the Investec Diomed Stakes, 1 mile and half a furlong. And Frank, take it away with a show.
Yeah, Zaki's 13-8, Bye Bye Hong Kong 11-4, Oh This Is Us 7-2, Morden 11-2, Chief Ironside 14-1, and we're 20s bar.
On you go, Tom.
Well, Zaki's favourite based on the fact that he beat Barney Roy last time out, but Barney Roy hasn't done that much for the form recently. I mean, he won at Longchamp, but it was a poor race, and on his old form, Barney Roy would have walked all over Zaki, and I don't think that form is that form is very strong. I think Bye Bye Hong Kong should be favourite and will go off favourite here. He gets £12 from Zaki, which is a massive allowance, weight for age allowance. He's improving this year. He's got a really good mentality. He fought back against Oh This Is Us last time out at Windsor when looking beat. The trip's fine, which you can't say for a few of these. I just think £12 weight for age. He's probably the best horse in the race, and I think he should be favourite. 11-4 is great value.
And another SDS. Frank, what's your view? Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree. I just priced it myself this morning, and I was actually making Bye by Hong Kong favourite. Again, it's the weight is the thing here. Like, he's getting, as I said, £14 from the rest of the field. He did it nicely at Windsor. Like, even if you go on ratings, he's rated 112, the same as Aki, but yet he's getting, £12, not 14. So he should get there's a chance he'll get an easy lead as well. Chief Ironside has been prominent a couple of times. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Zabriskie for Luke Combe, or whether he'll be prominent, but there's a chance he'll get an easy lead, and if he does, I think SDS might be able to get away with it here. Zaki, as I said, Barney Roy obviously would have needed that run in Ascot. He'd been off the track for a very long time after a failed stud career, so I wouldn't take that form literally at all. And even if you go back to some of his runs last year, like, he was behind Chief Ironside. He looks very short. I'd be siding with the 3-year-old.
Keels, is it 3 votes for Bye Bye Hong Kong?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't really add any more to what they've just said. SDS, I'm pretty sure, will get an easy lead. Zaki normally comes from the back. And he's just brilliant around there at that trip between 7 furlong and 1 mile 1. I think he's got a near 30% strike rate at the track. He's brilliant around there. And if he gets to set it up, I don't see anything getting past him.
OK, now then, 2 weeks ago, Keels put up Duke of Frenzy, that gallant old sprinter who hasn't previously won for quite some time. Absolutely sluiced in where was it, Redcar, Keels, or Ripon or something? Where? Thirsk, pardon me, yes. And then last week he followed up in spectacular fashion. So Duke of Frenzy is the absolute darling of the Postcast at the moment. Let's find out if Keels is going to tip him after Frank gives us a show of betting and his view on the dash.
Hatik is 4-1, Muthmere 8-1 along with Copper Knight, Duke of Frenzy and Dark Shot. Aba Gum 12-1 along with Just That Lord. Ornate and Mockatill 14s. Caspian Prince, Blue de Vega, Fool for You and Boom the Groom are 16-1 and we're 20s bar.
Frank, tell us about the strong favourite here from Ireland, Hatik.
Yeah, this is one of my anti-post positions for the week. I'm back this last week for this race. I would be quite keen on his chances now. He's a half-brother to Ektidar, who obviously won the Commonwealth Cup last year, and Massat, who was second in the 2000 Guineas when Galileo Gold won. His maiden form is quite decent. He was second on his first 2 starts before winning at Kempton. Now, that Kempton win was quite solid form. Cartographer was second. He was rated 85. Saluti was third, rated 81. But Ripoff was fourth. Of course, he's running well on all the big handicaps. And Big Tour was fifth, rated 92. Now, the problem was that this horse broke his pelvis, I think, and was off the track for over 2 years. And Dennis Hogan managed to pick him up for just $3,000, which is an unbelievable bit of business. Now, he's taking a risk, but that injury is something that they can overcome. It's not as serious as, say, a tendon or something. But he returned then, ran the handicap at Nav, and he was 25-1. He was down the field, clearly needed. Was stepped up to 6 furlongs at Dundalk, showed a bit more. The tongue tie was added that day, but it was to drop back to 5 at Tipperary, where we thought this could be something useful. He absolutely bolted in what it looked an ordinary enough handicap, but the second Mockalad absolutely hacked up when smashing the betting at Naas on his next start. And the 6 Ploughboy won at Naas next time as well. So the form was relatively solid. He went up £11 for that, ran the Curragh last Sunday, absolutely hacked up again. Time wasn't too bad. Now, it was a different day, but trying to kind of get some gauge on what he was able to do. He was running over 5 on Sunday, but the horse of Richard Fahey that won the group race on the Saturday, the name's after leaving me there, he ran faster than that in the closing section, albeit over a furlong shorter, but he wasn't hard pressed to do that. He's only got a £4 penalty. He's gone up £11 the handicapper here. He's got a decent draw on 18. As long as he breaks okay, I think he'd be very, very difficult to beat. OK, Frank's made a strong case for the Fav there, Kills. What are you going to do, stay loyal to the Duke?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the interesting thing about the Fav is, he obviously is £7 well in, but it's a completely different ball game, isn't it? 21 a race at Epsom, and I can't say I know too much about the jockey, but he has a career strike rate of 4%, and although he's won on Hatik in the last 2 runs, there was only 2 wins from 49 rides.
This, Kills, is a race that quite a lot of jockeys actually don't bother to ride in because they don't want to nose their chances up for the Derby, don't they? It's a difficult test, isn't it?
Gets out and he can dominate, there is the potential for him to be just extremely, extremely well handicapped. I mean, Racing Post ratings gave him 102 for that, and he's running off a mark of 88. So it tells you how far clear he is. But if he misses the break, he could be in all sorts of trouble. That's why he's 4-1. Obviously, when you've got that much in hand at a handicap, you should be a fair bit shorter. But it's that sort of race. But yeah, no, I love Duke of Friends. How can you ignore him after winning at 8s and 16s last week, which was ridiculous? And on Betfair, he was out to double that at one point. Absolutely ludicrous. He travelled like a dream at York. And he loves Epsom just as much as he loves York. He's won this race 2013, finished third a couple of times as well. And the last time he finished third was 2 years ago. He was off level weights with Caspian Prince, who has to give him £25 a mile. And he's got stall 19, so he's got the right draw. I mean, you normally want to be high. There have been a couple of low draw runners win it, but you know, so he's in the right place, he's in the right frame of mind, and he just seems to have come back to life. So yeah, I'll be backing him again. Obviously, there is a massive dose of sentiment in there at the same time, but I still think around about 8, 9 to 1. I mean, he is well worth a bet. You'll get 5, maybe 6 places as well with the bookies on the day. The other one I've been tempted to back is Muthmir, who has dropped a fair way down the handicap. He's rated 113, I think, this time last year. Just lost his form a little bit last couple of runs, but he's come down to a mark of 105. It'll be his first handicap for about 4 years. And his best ever form came at Goodwood, which is downhill like Epsom, so he'll handle the track.
Okay, Tom, do you agree with Frank? Do you agree with Kills, or are you going to go your own way?
I've literally got 2 horses written down, and Kills has just said both of them. Duke of Frenzy and Muthmir. High draw is crucial, as both the lads have said. Is it crucial, though? Because that's stand side, isn't it? Doesn't it get congested up there? It does get congested, but obviously you're running again. It's fairly level up there compared to in the middle of the track where the camber's most effective. So I'd want to be drawn 20 or 19, and both Duke of Frenzy and Muthmir, I think they're drawn 19 and 16, so they're both drawn high. I don't really have much to add on the 2, as Kills have just covered them both. But
if you're only backing one of them, who would you go for?
It would be Muthmir. I think he's the class horse in the race. All of his best races have been run in June and July as well, so he'll be primed for this. I'm
going to have the TriCast. Right, let's move on to the big race. Big race of the season for many people. It's the Investec Derby. Over a mile and a half, the classic course, and Aidan O'Brien has thrown 8 darts at this one. 13 runners. Frank, take it away with a show of betting.
Yes, so Dragon A is 5-2, Broome and Telecaster 9-2, Anthony Van Dyke 6-1, Bangkok 8-1, Japan and Mad Moon are 10-1, Circus Maximus 16-1, Line of Duty 25-1, and we're 33-1 bar.
Kills, it's a tough old puzzle, this. Solve it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, you know, it must have been pretty hard for Ryan Moore, assuming he doesn't just get told what he's riding, to make a choice. I mean, Sir Dragon looked really, really impressive at Chester. He does have a bit of a high knee action, and both his runs have been on softish ground. I thought he would have chosen Broome. The other thing about Sir Dragon is that race at Chester, it was full of British horses with trainers who aren't renowned for having Derby contenders, and the race sort of fell apart. I'm not sure he's as good as he looked. Quite possible I'm wrong, but I just think Broome was one of those workman-like horses over a mile and 2. He's won 2 trials, the Ballysacks and the Derensdown, and he's had more in hand than it's looked both times. And I just think the extra 2 furlongs here is absolutely going to suit him down to the ground. And hopefully Donica O'Brien can win the race on the son of the horse that gave Joseph O'Brien his Derby winner, Australia. So hopefully that'll be the case. He's the one I think is the best of the O'Briens. The best of the British, as far as I'm concerned, is Bangkok. I really wanted to take him on at Sandown in the Classic trial because he was a very short price for a horse that won a maiden, but obviously he beat Telecaster in that maiden, so it's turned out that form was very good. And although there was a bit of trouble behind him at Sandown, it took an absolute age to pull Bangkok up. And I think he's definitely going to stay very strong. He's another son of Australia. I think both those two will very much improve for a mile and a half.
Tom, what's your Derby verdict?
Boring, but Sir Dragon A. I backed him straight after he won the Chester Vase at 10-1 when the bookies, they weren't taking any prisoners about 10 minutes after that when they made him favourite, but straight after the race made him 10-1. I thought that was pretty big. I tweeted at the time, I thought he should be favourite straight away. He was super impressive, 7-length win, only second start. Aidan O'Brien dominates the Derby in recent seasons. He won 4 of the last 7, looking for his 7th Derby in total. If there's one horse in this race that I think could be an absolute star, it's the Dragon A. Like some of the others, I look at them and think, yeah, they're good horses, good 3-year-olds, but I can't see them absolutely dominating divisions going forward. He, as I say, he's only had 2 starts. He handled Chester really well, which makes me think that he'll handle Epsom as well. Ryan's on. I wasn't expecting Ryan to ride. As Kiel said, I thought Ryan would go on Broom as well, and Donica would stay on to Dragonet. But obviously Ryan's a fantastic jockey. He's good round Epsom as well. He's got a perfect draw out wide. I don't like being in the middle. My horse has been in the middle or low, to be fair. Concertina and drawn low, you don't really get many winners of the Derby, so being drawn out wide's a massive plus. And he's literally born to win this race. His pedigree is absolutely perfect. Son of Camelot, obviously won this race. Sadler's Wells mare, who obviously Sadler's Wells has bred Galileo, Montjeu, you name it.
Is Mummy any good? What's she called?
Sparrow. She was a sprinter, so Dragonet has like some sprinting in his pedigree, which you can see by his turn of foot, because he's fairly quick and is up in fantastic style, both at Chester and on debut at Tipperary. 5-2 short. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm on an anti-post. I probably wouldn't back him at 5-2, but I think he's the most likely winner of the race and the one horse, as I say, that could be a star.
Frank, who do you like?
Yeah, it's a tricky enough race. Like, I would be pretty much against Sir Dragonet, to be honest. I'd be surprised if you're not getting a bit bigger this afternoon. Look, he was very impressive at Chester, but I think when you look at the race and look at the times and stuff, I think he was the only one ridden efficiently that day. I think they went a little bit too hard and he was able to pick up the pieces. What would concern me with him is that if you go back and watch the first couple of furlongs, I don't know, is it just greenness or he was just not nice to look at the first couple of furlongs. He just seemed a little bit reluctant or something. Maybe it was just being green. But I'd have my concerns, particularly with the ground as well. I think I'd be pretty sure he needs a bit of dig. And by time 4:30 comes around tomorrow, I think it'll be really fast ground. I think there's plenty of reasons to take him on. I'm a bit surprised Ryan Moore chose him, but I suppose he is the potential horse in the race. The one I'm going to take a chance on at a bit of a price. Look, the Derby was pretty predictable there for a few years, but we've got a 16-1 and 40-1 winner the last 2 years. And I'm going to take a chance on Circus Maximus for Aidan O'Brien. Look, it's Frankie Dettori doesn't ride for Aidan too often. I think he's one winner from, 7 or 8 rides in the last 5 years in his runners in the UK. But if you go back and look at some of the form this year, he had last year, he won his maiden on a second start at Gowran easily enough on heavy ground, but he then went to Newmarket for the Autumn Stakes. He was third, beaten just over 3 lengths but he was beaten by Persian King and Magna Grecia, who obviously have won the French and Irish Guineas. He then went to the Vertem Futurity at Doncaster, beaten only a length by Magna Grecia and Phoenix of Spain, who won the English Guineas. He won at Chester nicely enough. Now, it wasn't that impressive visually, but I think the time actually wasn't too bad and he stuck it out reasonably well. And I liked the comments afterwards when Ryan said he kind of held a little bit back for himself. That's probably the reason why the cheek pieces are gone on to him now. He should easily get the trip. He's, again, like all of Aidan's horse, he's bred for this sort of thing. He's a Galileo out of Duntal, who was Group 1 placed mare. So I think there's a lot to like about this horse, and he's a fair each way price as well.
Excellent. Let's get the 1, 2, 3s, given it's the Derby. Kills, who are you going to go for?
Yeah, Broome, Bangkok, and as my outsider, I thought Japan was not that much of an outsider now, but I think he'll come on massively for the Fancy.
Blimey, 10-1 shot. You've really gone for it there. What have you got for us, Tom? 1, 2, 3.
It'll be an Aidan O'Brien 1, 2, 3. So Dragonet, Broome, Japan.
Okay, and Frank?
Circus Maximus, Broome, and Bangkok.
Kills, would you be surprised if Line of Duty won?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of...
What do you think, put it this way, if it does, what do you think the headline should be in the Racing Post on Sunday?
Go on.
It's got to be Mother of God, hasn't it, don't you think?
Fair enough.
Sorry if you didn't watch Line of Duty, I haven't got a clue what I'm on about. Right then, chaps, that was the Derby. We've got the rest of Epsom and 8 other Saturday meetings to get stuck into next.
So, does an each-way bet mean that my horse has to do part of the race in reverse?
Everyone loves a newbie. That's why Paddy Power Games are giving all new customers 60 free spins on daily jackpot games. New Paddy Power Games customers only, 1 per customer. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back. Right then, as mentioned, 2 more races at Epsom that aren't on the TV. And then, if you want a great betting day, or if indeed you want to go racing, we've got Navan and Tremor in Ireland. And we've got Doncaster, Hexham, Musselburgh, Worcester, Lingfield and Stratford. So, Tom, I'm just going to throw the floor open to you. What have you got for us? Don't give your nap away.
Okay, last 2 races at Epsom. In the 1 mile 4 handicap, I like Soto Sizzler. He was improving over staying trips last season. He ran Supernova and Sleeping Lion, both of whom were improving sorts last year. Both ran them both to a length before scoring well at Goodwood off a mark of 79, where he beat horses Corgi and Making Miracles, and they've done very well since. Making Miracles obviously winning at Chester. You can put a line through his last 2 runs last year because the ground went against him on his penultimate start, and then he was just over the top at the end. He had a hard campaign. Had a nice comeback run at Chelmsford when he was given a very quiet ride, finished 5th in the end of a big field. He hacked up here last time out, literally could have won 10 lengths. He won by that easily. It's just ridiculous. He's only gone up £5 in the weights. He's got a low weight again. I think he's a good thing.
That's in the 5.15.
It is in the 5.15. And then in the 5.50 at Epsom, the last race, not a bet necessarily, but a lay, Spanish City. I have no strong opinion on the race, but this Spanish City is just a punter's nightmare. He travels like the best horse, and he will surely trade under his odds in running because he just tanks through, but he finds nothing. He should have won last time at Newmarket and got outfoxed by Petit Fogo, who's one of the most unreluctant horses in racing, I'd probably say. He's short. I don't know what price he'll be, but he's probably going to be quite short in the betting. Definitely a lay.
Okay. Anything else?
Just one elsewhere, and that is Aspire Tower in the 325 at Musselburgh. Needs a bit of give in the ground. There's been a bit of rain up in Scotland. I think it's good to soften. There's some rain forecast today as well. He's a strong traveller. You can scrap that return run at Newmarket when he was really well backed, but the ground was quick, and as soon as he was asked for effort, he didn't put down and just faded out the back, and the jockey didn't give him a hard time. Mark of 85 could be lenient, and this longer triple suit.
Frank, what else do you like?
Yeah, I agree with Tom on Soto Sizzler. I think you might get a little bit of a price about it too because Sextant will more than likely be quite short. Sextant was an impressive winner at Ascot on his handicap debut the last day of 89. He's gone up 8 for that. I'd imagine they won't want to be winning by too far here with Sextant because it's a Royal Ascot's on the agenda for him. But Soto Sizzler just seems to be a horse that comes alive on these sort of quirky tracks. As Tom's already said, he won a good handicap at Goodwood last year, and obviously Corgi was third to First 11, who's a group horse at York a couple of weeks ago, and Making Miracles hacked up in the Chester Cup, so it looks strong form. Like, he was winning that Goodwood race off 79, he was winning at Epsom last time off 83, and he's only gone up another 5. He's probably, they're talking about the Ebor long term for him. He'd need to get up over £10 to have any hope of getting into that race, so I'd expect him to go really well. In the last, I'm going to take a chance on one at an absolute massive, potentially what would be a massive price in the 550, the 6 furlong handicap. Tawny Port's having a second start for Stuart Williams. Decent enough record when trained by James Given. He had 5 wins from 20 starts for him. He might want easy ground ideally. I'm taking a chance on the ground. But if you go back to last year, he was third in Newcastle off 84, third in the Air Bronze Cup off 84, third at Haylock off 84. He's off 83 here. There's a chance your wins could improve him. He was second in his second start in a maiden on good to firm ground, so there's a small hope he might handle it. The draw's fine. I think he could be 16 or 20 to 1 easily. I might have a few quid each way on him. Then up in Doncaster in the 120, 1 mile 6 furlong handicap. Big time dancer would look quite well handicapped back on the flat off 61. Of course, he won the Lanzarote off a mark of 125. He won a flat race at Leicester in 2017, I think August or September 2017, off this mark of 61. Jenny Canlish is a trainer who's very shrewd. I'd be surprised if he couldn't win off that sort of mark. And then up in Musselburgh, in the 250, the 7 furlong handicap, Reeves was second to Space Blues at York the last day. Now, if you go back and watch it, Space Blues absolutely thrown in off his opening mark of 93 and came from the clouds to win that race. He's favoured today in a listed race at Epsom. Reeves has only gone up £2. He'd been earlier 5th in the Esher Cup. The second Migration won at Newmarket. The 4th Fox Leicester won at Sandown. Strong enough form. And he was second at Newbury early in the year to Happy Power. Happy Power was winning off 93. He was third in a listed race next time and is rated 105 now. Now Reeves has beaten 5 lengths, but again he's only a couple of pounds higher, so there's every chance he could make amends for the York second. And in the 4 o'clock at Musselburgh, 7 furlong listed fillies race, Indian Betting's £5 clear in the ratings here. She was narrowly beaten in the Group 3 at Goodwood last August. This doesn't look a very strong race, and she might be good enough to win that.
Thank you, Frank. Now Keels is itching to begin his birthday bender, so I don't suppose he's going to have too many horses for us. What have you got?
I've got a few funny. Frank mentioned a couple of mine at the aways. But no, Epsom in the 5:15. Eddystone Rock is actually very closely handicapped with Soto Sizzler, having been second to him earlier on this season. He's a little bit like Duke of Firenze, and he completely lost his way last season, dropped right down the handicap, but he's come back absolutely bouncing. He's already won twice this year. He won last time out, and he's threatened to win a decent prize at Epsom in the past. In fact, I think he was second in this race a couple of years ago. So I'll definitely be backing him each way. And I'm going to have to disagree with Tom over Spanish City. I think what you haven't realised, Tom, is he's dropping back to 6 furlongs, and he's bred to be a sprinter. And if you look at his form over 7 furlongs, travelling well, no extra. He wants to come down to 6 furlong, get a strong run race. If he can find his way through, I think he'll go very, very, very close. And right now he's top of my list for the Wokingham, for which he's 25-1. I had one other go. Squats, trained by Ian Williams, used to be trained by William Haggis. Has dropped a bit down the weights as well. Another 7 furlong horse who wants a strong run race. Ran better than I would have expected first time up, because he's normally a second half of the season horse, and Ian Williams has won this race. That'd be my 2 for there. As Frank said, at Doncaster, big time dancer, he won the Lanzarote. Before he did that, he bolted up by 10 lengths on good to firm at Doncaster. Cannot have the ground fast enough, according to Jenny Candice, which is no good for him over jumps, really, but it's perfect on the flat, so he has to win, I would have thought. There's a horse trained by Sir Michael Stout in the 2:30. Vivian will be favourite. Done all her winning on the all-weather, but I wouldn't read anything into that, because it was only the debut on turf. Stepping up to 1 mile and 2 from a mile. So far, gone 5 furlongs, 7 furlong, 1 mile. Is actually a sister to Ispolini, who's second in the Dubai Gold Cup over 2 miles. So that has to see her improve. She'll be fav. Summer Moon in the 3:05. Just one of those Mark Johnson horses that needs to be followed until it gets beat. Stepping up in trip again. Has been winning very, very easily. Wouldn't be a surprise to me if he ends up in the Queen's Vase, going to 1 mile 6 for the first time. And if you want the forecast for the Reeves race that Frank was on about, I can't remember what time that was, then King of Tonga and Reeves, I'm pretty sure they will battle it out. I think both are very well handicapped.
Okay, well done, Kills. Thanks very much. Right then, chaps, let's make it a good weekend on the Naps front.
This will not be beaten.
Away you go, birthday boy.
Yeah, I'm going to go politicised, 2 o'clock Epsom.
Tom Collins.
Bye-bye Hong Kong, 3:10 Epsom.
Frank the Tank Hickey.
I'm going to take one of the price and go 2:35 Epsom, Bella Ragazza.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. Let's do Sunday next.
Check out Paddy's Rewards Club. Simply place 5 bets of £10 or more across any sport in a week, and you'll get a free £10 bet the next week. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. Bruce Millington, Tom Collins, Paul Keeley and Frank the Tank Hickey from Paddy Power. Looking ahead to Sunday's action, and the main event takes place at 3:25 at Chantilly. It's the Kipco Prix du Jockey Club, in which the brilliant Persian King bids to make it 6 on the trot. Frank, I've got to say, when I saw the show, I thought he might be a bit shorter. Take us through the prices.
Yeah, I think it might be as a result of the draw. He's drawn very wide. We're 11-8 Persian King, 7-1 Razu, 8-1 Mutamaris and Slalom and Surfman, 10-1 Cape of Good Hope and Sotsas, and we're 16-1 Bar.
Tom, is this a fav you want to take on, get stuck into, lay, or just watch?
I don't want to take him on because he's looked very good, winning his last 5 starts. He looked the standout 3-year-old, and everyone wanted him to come over for the Guineas. Obviously, Andre Fabre decided not to. He won the French Guineas well last time out, despite not handling the ground.
When you say everyone, you mean Maddie?
I do mean Maddie, yeah. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, look, I think he's probably the most likely winner. The race will be run to suit as well, because Razu's going to go forward. Really keen going sort of Andrew Baldwin, talented, but basically runs away with the jockey and might set it up for something in behind. I won't be betting the race. I think if there's one at a price, it's probably Mutamaris. It could be absolutely anything. Won all 3 starts by a total of 16.25 lengths on all kinds of ground. We'll appreciate the good lead into the race, and he could be the each-way bet, but it's not really a betting race for me.
Frank, have you got a view?
Not really. Persian King, I think if he was drawn lower, he'd be probably a shade of odds on. He looks an absolute monster. I really like him. I don't have a strong opinion. If I was taking one at a price, I might just fire a few quid each way on Zarkalani for Alan Roy Duprere with Christoph Sumion booked. Like, he's bred to be very useful out of Zarkava. Obviously, was a brilliant mare, but his half brother Zarak was second in this race behind Al Manzour in 2016. Now, he only won his maiden last week. But he was beaten ahead and a neck in his 2 previous runs. It's a big step up, but at 16-1, he's bred for the job. He might run into a place at a price.
And Paul Keeley, what is your betting strategy on this going to consist of?
Yeah, Kelsey, I've got one. I wouldn't worry too much about that Persian King. When you have a look, there's, in the last 10 years, two winners from stall 10, one from 13, one from 16, one from 20. It ain't that big a deal, especially when you got that much class. I think he'll win. I think he absolutely hated the ground last time. It was bottomless, but he still worked his way through it and was very strong at the end. He's obviously by the mile of Kingman, but there's loads of stamina on the other side. Is damaged by Dylan Thomas, who won the Arc under Kieran Farrell years ago. Yeah, I think it'd be extremely hard to beat.
Okay, elsewhere on Sunday they are racing at Listowel and Kilbeggan in Ireland, and Nottingham and Fakenham. There's a listed race at Nottingham. It's the Nottinghamshire Oaks. What else should we be backing on Sunday, Tom Collins?
There's just one in the 2:45 at Nottingham. It looks a pretty decent novice event. Obviously, we haven't got the full decks, but Jamie Spencer's been booked on Dr. Jekyll, an expensive purchase, his son of Scat Daddy. Performed with real credit on debut at Yarmouth. He was behind a horse called King of Comedy, who's done well for the form since. He should improve on that, and he looks a potential black type performer, so he could be one to follow. It'd
be great if he ends up being consistent, wouldn't it, with a name like Dr. Jekyll? It'd be ironic. Frank, anything else?
Nothing. Well, maybe in the listed race at Nottingham, like, it's not the strongest race. Looking here very quickly, the decks are just through. Razama's top of the ratings at 102, but she's to give £3 a Sun Maiden for Sir Michael Stout. I think there was a bit of promise in her third at York behind Lati Dar in a Group 2 the last day. She was kind of fancied a little bit for the Ribbles Day last year. She only went off 3-1. She was only beaten 5.5 lengths by Magic Wand, and her form tailed off a little bit after that, but the yard are absolutely in flying form this year so far, so I think she could probably rate a fair bit higher than 100 before the year is out, so she might be able to pick up that race.
And Keels, are you all done for tips?
Pretty much. I've just had a look at Nottingham as the decks have come in, and Dan Zeno is half interested in the 4:30. He's dropped down to a mark of 97. Started last year at 107. Has run some big races in his time. Been a proper group horse, and he's down in a Class 3, running against horses that he ought to be better than.
Thanks, Keels. Take us through what the your 51st birthday consists of today, then.
Well, I'm off to the Oaks. My mates have got a table for 10 in the Tatnam stand, I think, and we're just going to sit there and drink all day, and then drink and punt, and then go to a club later on and play cards, I think.
Fantastic. What a great birthday. Tom, what's your weekend consisting of?
You know what? I don't actually know.
Don't know?
I think I might have tomorrow off. I'm not sure. And then I'm working Sunday. Yeah, I don't know. Play it by ear. That's what I do. Carefree
youth. And Frank, what about you? Hard at it all weekend?
No, I'm off now after today until Wednesday, so I'm heading down to Cork. I'm a Liverpool fan, so we have a table booked in Brick Lane in Cork tomorrow night, and we'll go out and watch the match and hopefully get blind drunk watching Liverpool win the European Cup.
Fantastic.
And then it's a bank holiday over here as well, so I might even do a rollover on Sunday and go out again.
Really?
I'm not a big man for going out, but I might do 2 days in a row.
Will Jill not come down on you like a ton of bricks with all that kind of... Well,
she's coming down... She's coming down with me. She's actually going down today, and she can't drink at the moment.
Oh, is that good news?
Some news, yeah. My life's about to change, so I'm going to get...
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much. So it's... I might as well get a few nights out while I have a chance.
And plenty of lifts home as well. Brilliant, perfect.
Yeah, but she's big into her yoga, so she's coming back up to Dublin on Sunday for yoga, but I'm staying down for a couple of days.
I think Keels is doing yoga on Sunday as well, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, what's that? Lotus.
And when's the baby due, Frank?
Not till like the end of November, so we've just told people there about 2 weeks ago.
Fantastic. So, congratulations to you both, my friend. Right then, don't forget, if you enjoy these shows, please do make sure you rate, review and subscribe wherever you're listening. Maddie and the gang are back on Monday to look back on this fantastic classic weekend and ahead to what's coming up next weekend. We've got golf on Wednesday and we've got a Women's World Cup football postcast on Thursday. If you can't join us for any of those, we'd love to see you back here for another Racing Post weekend postcast next Friday.
Paddy Power Games has over 250 of your favourites to play online, and we're going to attempt to name them all in this 10-second ad before the T's and C's kick in. There's Blackjack, 18+, begambleaware.org.